in this presentation, our new design of the Honors Talent Program, Honors 2.0, as we call it, will be central. And what we want to do during this session is that I first explain why we designed a new Honors Talent Program, how does it look, and what are our first experiences. And after my presentation, Marie-Von will tell about her first experiences in the new Honors Talent Program and with her students, and after her, my colleague Manouk Walter with her students will also tell something about the experiences of her students in the new Honors Talent Program. At Hanze University of Applied Sciences, we started already with an Honors Talent Program in 2010. And this program is a program of 30 European credits on top of the bachelor student of the bachelor studies of the student. So it's 30 European credits extra. And we chose to decentralize the Honors Talent programs. So we have 15 departments, 15 schools at Hanze University of Applied Sciences, and in each school there is an Honors Talent Program. So we have more or less 15 Honors Talent Programs. And most of the students start in this Honors Talent Program in the second year of their bachelor. And the program was successful because every year we have about 500 students in these Honors Talent Programs. And the main characteristics of our Honors Talent Program are enhancing academic competencies, bounded freedom, and building community. And these characteristics were based on research of the research group of Marka Wolfensberger, Talent Development in Higher Education and Society. And we work closely together with this research group. So the question is, why to change a successful program? Now, first of all, after 10 years, there is a natural feeling to change a program or to adjust the program. But there were more specific reasons to adjust the program. First of all, our Honors Talent Program offers the student a lot of freedom, and which is of course the charm of the program. But from the perspective of students, a little more structure was desirable. So had a discussion between freedom versus structure. A second reason was that students who dropped out of the program didn't get any reward and were seen as dropouts. And that was a negative stigma. But we also saw that there were a lot of new educational developments in higher education in general, but also also at our university. And the main characteristics of these developments were that there were more connections with the outside world and more relations with societal questions. And these aspects were also important aspects of honors education. So what we saw were that there were more aspects that were coming in regular education that were also central in honors education. And there was a tendency that students want to have more flexibility in their studies. And that's also a general development in the Netherlands, more flexible education. And our university has chosen for a structure that every course in the future has an amount of 5 European credits. And in line with that, we adopt that also in our honors, new design of our Honors Talent Program. And finally, the study load. 30 European credits on top of a bachelor is a huge study load for students. And the last years, we recognized that it has also influence on the well-being of our students. So what did we change? First of all, we defined a new honors vision. In this vision, we defined 3 roles for the student: the role of pioneer, influencer, and connector. And these roles were also connected with the main characteristics I already mentioned before, enhancing academic competences, bounded freedom, and community building. And the role of pioneer is connected with entrepreneurship, risk-taking, curiosity, and critical reflection. The role of influencer is related with stimulating, making things happen, audacity. And finally, the role of connector emphasizes community building, creating support, and contributing to the world. The last aspect is, of course, always a very important aspect of honors education: give meaning to the world. And it's also in line with Hanze, the Hanze slogan, "Share your talent, move the world." With 15 honors talent programs, we didn't have central honors learning outcomes. But in the new design, we defined 5 honors learning outcomes, and I will show them later on in my presentation. I already told about the balance between freedom and choice. And in the new design, we build in more structure, especially at the beginning of the honors talent program. Because students, not all the students, but some students need more structure, especially at the beginning of their honors talent program. In the former honors talent program, we had a lot of interdisciplinary courses, interdisciplinary work, projects, but we want to stimulate it more. And what we try to do in the new design is that our departments, our schools work together to on social subjects, but also work together to develop new honors courses. The new honors design has a flexible setup, so it is still 30 European credits on top of the bachelor, but it consists of honors labs of 5 European credits. So our new design is an honors talent program with 6 honors labs for the student. And when a student successfully finishes an honors lab, he will receive an EDU badge. An EDU badge, you can see it as a kind of digital certificate. So it is official badge of Hanze, but it's digital, and I will show you later on in my presentation an example of an EDU badge. It took 4 years to start with the new design, and we will start in September 2021. We had a lot of meetings, first of all with the board of Hanze University of Applied Sciences, which is of course very important because you need the support of the board. We discussed with the directors of our schools, the deans, but also of course with honors coordinators, teachers and students. And last year, this study year, we did a lot of preparations with the honors coordinators of each school together with the Hanze Honors College team. And we decided, we start in September 2021, but we decided to have some pilot labs in this academic year. And Marie-Vonne, but also Manouk and her students will tell about her experiences later on in these pilot labs. These are the 5 honors learning outcomes we define. And I can tell a lot about it, but when you have questions about these learning outcomes, please use the chat to ask questions about them. Developing talent is one of them. Forming of an own vision, experimenting, networking, and initiating change. And I heard the presentation before, and in that presentation about the honors education Connecticut, change is also a very important competencies of a learning outcome. So for us, initiating change is also very important, because we see students as young people who can have influence on big questions that are actual in our society. So, and this is the new design of our Honors Talent Program. On the left side you see the years, and what I already said, the Honors Program will start in the second year of the Bachelor, so that's the first year of Honors. And in that year the Honors student will follow 2 Honors labs, one in the first semester and the second in the second semester. And these labs are within each school. So the schools, our departments, are responsible to fill in these labs. And what we stimulate is that they connect these labs with the outside world, with society, but also with research. So it's up to the schools to fill it in, but we have some general guidelines. In the third year of the Bachelor, the second Honors year, the student go outside his or her school and can choose a Hanze-wide lab. And I will give some examples of Hanze-wide labs later on. And in the second semester, they can choose for an Honors lab again within the school, or a combi lab, which is a lab developed by 2 or more schools, or they can choose another Hanze-wide lab. And it's up to the school to fill this in. So a school can choose for a school lab, combi lab, or give the students the opportunity to follow a Hanze-wide lab. And then the last year, the fourth year of the Honors Program, the student can then choose for an expert challenge, which is an in-depth Honors lab within the school, so it's more specialized. Or they can give the student the opportunity to follow a leadership challenge, and that's a central program on the level of Hanze, organized by the Hanze Honors College. And in this lab we bring students together in their last Honors year, and the subject is leadership. So it's interdisciplinary because we bring all the students from all different domains together. On the right side you see a yellow column, that's the Punchcard lab. It's part of the Honors Talent Program, but the student has the possibility to fill it in during his or her Honors Talent Program, with all different kinds of activities. And what we try to do is to offer students in every Honors lab a Punchcard activity. But it's also possible to fill it in with other activities during the Honors Talent Program of the student. Finally, when a student finishes successfully the Honors Talent Program, he will receive, he has already 6 EDU badges, but he also will receive an official Honors certificate of Hanze and a remark on his diploma. So this is a kind of summary of the types of labs. I already mentioned the school labs, the combi labs, and Marivonne will give her presentation about her experiences of the first lab, the Navigating Your Moral Compass in a Technical World. I already mentioned the Hanze-wide labs. We developed this year 5 labs, and one is about art, that is 1001. Another is about critical thinking, prove your teacher wrong. One about entrepreneurship, one about the futures literacy, and one about fantastic failures. And I already mentioned the Punchcard lab. Finally, on the left side you see an example of one of our schools, sports studies. They will start with the Honors Talent Program in September. The Honors Talent Program consists of 6 labs, and in year 2 they have 2 labs in their own school. In year 3 they follow 2 labs outside the school, of which one is a combi lab. And in year 4 the sports studies student has the possibility to choose for an expert challenge or for a leadership challenge. And of course the Punchcard lab is part of this Honors Talent Program. And on the right side you see an example of an EDU badge. I already mentioned that it is an official badge of Hanze, so the name of Hanze is on the badge. The issuing school, in this case the Dance Academy, Lucia Matas, is on the badge, and the name of the Honors Lab is on the badge, and of course the Honors banner. And inside the badge, the learning outcomes are mentioned that are related with a lab, and also a brief description of the lab. So that is in short my presentation about the new design. And Yvonne, I will ask you to take it over to tell about your experiences in your pilot lab.
Okay, thank you very much, Pieter. Yeah, I would like to tell you a bit more about a Combi lab. Although we are starting with this new Honors 2.0 in September of this year, we already had the chance to well, have a pilot and try to set up a new combination lab, and we called it Navigating Your Moral Compass in a Technical Environment. And I will tell you, first of all, a bit more about our lab, and then I brought two special guests, Melle and Marleen, who participated in different roles in the lab, and they will share some of their experiences with you after my presentation. Next slide, please. Yeah, thank you. Well, so as I said, we got a chance to set up a pilot lab, and we are a combination of life science technology, engineering and built environment. So three schools of Hanze in the technical domain. And we wanted to set up a very interdisciplinary, multidisciplinary lab. So that's why we cooperated with each other. And what was very special, or is very special of our lab, is that we start in the first year of the bachelor. Pieter already told you that normally in Hanze students start in their second year of their bachelor with their honors track, but we decided it would be very nice for first year students to get to know honors. And for the students, it's nice to find out if honors is something for them, and if they want to continue in the honors talent programs of the different institutes. And for us, it's a nice way of getting to know the students and see if they fit into our programs. So that's what we did. We worked on this pilot lab last year to set it up, because we wanted to start in February 21, and we did start in 21. It's a lab for one semester worth 5 European credits. And as Pieter told you, students get an AD badge after finishing this lab. Well, we started recruiting students. The students that participated are students that were doing very well in their first semester of their studies and had enough time to decide, okay, I'd like to have an extra challenge. So they applied for the program, and we started in February with 22 first year students from those three institutes of Hanze, 2 senior participants, because there were some honor students that were interested in the topic of this lab as well. So they asked if they could participate, and of course they were allowed, because it's nice to have some experienced honor students in our lab. And we recruited 3 honors student coaches, and Melle is one of them. And we are 3 honors coaches, so in fact 3 honors lectures of Hanze, and well, we guide this lab a bit. Well, we had 10 different fields of study in our lab, so it's really multidisciplinary. That's very nice to see all those students with different backgrounds in one lab together. And the theme that we chose, well, you can see it from the title, I think, is ethics, because ethics are important, and in the regular bachelors of our institutes, there's not that much attention for the topic of ethics. And we think it's very important for students in the technical domain to have some knowledge of ethics, and to realize that with everything that they do, ethics is part of it. So what we did is we organized workshops, we organized guest lectures during this lab, and the students had to work in a group on an ethical dilemma. So they chose dilemmas like nuclear energy, pro or con, or obligatory vaccination programs for COVID, for example. And besides the group work, students could work on an individual project. Because, well, as Pieter already told you, this freedom, bounded freedom, is also part of a lab and of honors. So when you work in a group, maybe the dilemma is not the dilemma of your first choice. So we wanted to give the students more freedom to work on a project that they really liked. So that is the individual project they work on. Well, there is a student working on for example, cryptocurrencies and ethics. There is a student working on medical issues and ethics. So they all have the chance to work on a topic that they like. But of course, there has to be some kind of relationship with ethics. And what is very special, tonight we have our final meeting of the lab. It's the debate night. So tonight, all 5 groups are going to debate on their thesis, on their ethical dilemma. So we are looking very much forward to this meeting of tonight. It's a Punchcard activity, so also other people from within Hanze, other honor students, are allowed to participate, and well, it counts for them as a Punchcard activity. As yeah, Pieter already told you that those Punchcard activities are part of a Punchcard lab, or can be part of a Punchcard lab. Next slide, please. Here you see an overview of what we did, and you see a lot of meetings. I'll come back to that in my reflection. We started with a kickoff. We had a brainstorm session in which students were getting to know each other a bit better, and we organized 2 theoretical workshops on ethics. Some instruments the students could work with were introduced. The students themselves organized a social activity, a quiz, and well, of course, we had to do everything online, but they did a really good job to organize all those social activities online as well. And we had 2 guest lectures. The first one by Marka Wolfensberger, and she brought also an entrepreneur, and they shared all kinds of ethical dilemmas you can encounter in business. And we had another guest lecture of a company lawyer of Philips Electronics, and he shared all kinds of ethical dilemmas that he encounters on a nearly day-to-day basis in his job within that company. So there was a connection with ethics in the business field. And then, as I mentioned, tonight we have our debate night. Well, and then on the next slide, some reflections. It's not an official evaluation. We have to do that later when the lab is almost finished. But these are my reflections on what we did. And of course, there are some positive sides, and there are some points that can be improved. It was the first time, it was a pilot, and well, we discovered that it was a pilot and that we had to learn a lot ourselves from this new way of working. But what was very good is, I think, this lab structure, because in the old program, the current program, I should say, it's difficult for students to start because they have to think of topics themselves, find projects themselves. So it takes them quite a lot of time to get started. And with such a lab structure, well, you help students to get started right away. The central theme is also useful. It has a backside, but I'll come back to that later. But it helps because you know what to work on. Well, the meetings, of course, organizing meetings is inspiring, is activating. It keeps students going because they have to pay attention to the meetings, to focus, to be there. I think the combination of a plenary part and an individual part is interesting and is good. It gives students the opportunity to work together with others, to learn, to get to know other people from other fields of study as well. But on the other hand, a lot of students like to work individually. these are students that are able to do a lot of things, are good at their studies, are good at their work, so they like to work on their own project as well. Working with student coaches was great. I think for students, for the participants, it's
Marivonna, your microphone is turned off.
okay. I don't know what happened.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't touch anything. Okay, that's strange. The student coaches, did you hear about that? I don't know where I left. After the student coaches, okay. Do you hear me right now? Yeah?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Okay. Well, so working with the student coaches was great because, well, it's easier to contact them, and we try to be open and we try to be there for students, but for students, I think it's easier to contact a fellow student, and our coaches were really enthusiastic and very active, so it was great to have them within our lab. And the last positive point was that I think it's good as a selective instrument, on the one hand for the students to see if they like honors, and on the other hand for us to see if the students fit into our programs. Yeah, and then the things that could be better. When we started in February, we weren't ready, not totally ready, because we didn't know beforehand what we had to organize. So a lot of things were not clear at the beginning. So for us, there were a lot of questions. And then as a result, of course, for students, there were a lot of questions as well. But it's a pilot. So yeah, we all have to learn. And next year, I'm sure it will be better because we learned, of course. Even within a lab structure, there are questions, students miss information, but I think that's also part of honors. You have to find your own way. You have to find information on your own. So on the one hand, I think maybe it's, well, a point to improve, but on the other hand, we don't have to fill in everything for the students because then they miss the freedom, I think. So I think, well, some improvements are needed, but not too much. Working with the central theme on the one hand, as I said, is positive. On the other hand, if students don't like the theme or are not that interested in the theme, well, it can be a negative point. So we have to figure out although working with a theme, giving them also a lot of freedom to work on the things that they are interested in, because I think that is one of the great things of honors, that you can specialize yourself in certain fields that you are interested in. Well, 9 meetings was far too much. I think it were 10 in the end because we were so enthusiastic. So we added some activities. We encountered new people that were interested. So we had extra guest lectures. Very nice and inspiring, but really too much. So next year we have to stick to, I think, max 6 sessions, not more than that. The lab was very labor intensive because of everything that we had to organize during the lab, but also because of all those meetings. Yeah, and some students quit. And that was something that Pieter already mentioned. In the Honors 1.0, the current honors program, we see students quit. But also in the lab, we see students quit. But that is also because of this selective effect. Sometimes they discover this is not my cup of tea. Or in the first half year, they went very well in their bachelor, but in the second semester, they suddenly didn't get all the credits in their regular program and were uncertain to continue with honors because they had to focus on their regular studies. So there will be more points, positive points or points to improve, but I think I keep it to this. And I would like to turn to the 2 students that are present, because I think I have told you enough. So first of all, Marleen, could you share with us why you entered this program? Because you are a first-year student and you decided to apply for this lab. What was the main reason for you?
Can you hear us?
I can't hear Marleen. I can't hear Marcella.
Okay.
Hello.
Mike?
Now you can hear me, I think. Yeah, sorry.
Yes, great. Yeah.
We sat together, Mel and I, discussed. We are here in Hanze. Is it bad?
Yeah, the
Yeah.
sound is cracky.
Okay, same problem. I'll sit behind Mella's laptop then.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do that.
Let's try that again. Can you hear me properly?
Yeah, it's very good. Your sound is good.
No?
Yes.
Or yes?
Yes.
Yes. Ah, that's great. Well, let's try this one.
Well, this is better then. Thank you. Sorry. I decided to join the lab because I had good grades. It was easy going. Corona, I had free time, and so I thought, why not do something extra? And yeah, honors was something good on your resume. I think everyone I talked about it, other Hanze students were like, yeah, honors is like a really good program. So I thought, well, let's try it and see how it goes.
Okay. And now you're in the program. You did this lab.
Yeah.
And it is multidisciplinary, as I told. How do you think about that? Did you like to meet students from other studies? What are your experiences with that?
Yeah, it's very nice because you don't meet students right now, other students, so within your class, or you meet other built environment students, but I'm right now in a project with someone from engineering, and it's so nice to have a different point of view. He has different types of lectures, learns different things, and our project is, I think, way more better with multidisciplinary team.
Okay, that's good to hear, because that was what we hoped for when we created this multidisciplinary environment for you. Well, I'll stick to you because then afterwards you can change seats. That's maybe a bit better.
Yes.
So one other question for you. How do you think about the balance between structure and freedom in the lab?
Well, in the beginning, it was quite chaotic, the freedom, because it was a pilot and stuff. But I think I did learn from it. It was the first time I got so much freedom from a teacher. I normally get in studies like you have to hand in that time, and you have to do it this way. And with honors, you have all the freedom. But with my normal studies right now, we started a project week this week, and we got more freedom. And I was the only person who already worked with so much freedom because of honors. So yes, it was chaotic, but the experience also helps me right now with my normal studies.
Oh, that's great to hear. Thank you. Well, maybe we can turn to Melle right now, because we would have to keep some time for other questions from other people as well.
Sure.
Hey, Melle. Melle, you know the current program, the Honors 1.0, and you have now seen a glimpse of Honors 2.0. And what are your experiences? How do you look at it?
Well, the big difference, of course, is it gives the students in the first year the possibility to get to know the new honors program, and it also doesn't give students the idea that if they try it and if they quit, that they're failing in something. Like you said, some people quit, but maybe it wasn't for them. That's okay. I think it's more accessible in this way because often students, they don't really know anything about honors unless that is for people who like to do a lot of extra work, and that has a very negative connotation to itself, which is a shame. So in my opinion, it's quite the improvement.
Okay, that's good to hear. Thank you. And how did you like it to see all those students from different fields of study? Did you like that? Did you already experience that before?
I haven't really experienced it before like this, because of course the people were from schools that all had to do something with technology, but also their opinions and the way they think about stuff, their mindsets, it was really obvious that they all came from a different subject that they were specialized in and knew a lot about.
Okay, good. And I think because I wanted to ask you how you think about being a student coach in the lab, and I think in the chat there was also a question about that. But maybe you can tell us how did you like it?
Well, I really liked doing it. At first, of course, I didn't really know what to expect, but then again, I figured it was a nice challenge for me because I do have experience in working with people that were new to the company that but I didn't really have experience in teaching people something that I wasn't personally a real expert on. Two of the people in my group, they left after a while, which caused quite the bumpy ride for my group, but I'm really proud of what they have been able to deliver. So yeah, it's weird to be proud of something like this. I haven't experienced that before.
Yeah, nice new experience for you. And yeah, I see a question that if you are a senior student, yeah, in which year of the studies are you? In your second or third?
I'm in the second year. So officially I'm a senior student.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are. And the other coaches, because we had two more of them, are in their third and fourth year of studies, I think. And then we had those two students that are senior participants in our lab, and they are in their second and third year of their study. And they coached also a group, but they also participated. So they had kind of a mixed role within our lab.
Yeah, it's not like we. Sorry, can I add something to that?
Yeah.
It's not like we, the student coaches, were like experts in the subject of ethics, but we could offer some help in the way of guidance because, of course, we know a bit more about what you're supposed to do in an honors kind of setting. So what to do with all the freedom, what to do if you get stuck. So that's where we came in.
Yeah, exactly. And keep them going and keep overview of what had to be done, I think. Yeah. Okay, let's see. How are we going to evaluate? I see in the chat. Well, I think we will work on the same subject because the question is if we determined another subject, but for this lab, I think that we will stick to the same subject. But of course, we are going to evaluate with the students after ending this lab. And this will be a combination of questionnaires and interviews. And we have an honor student of Utrecht University, so not a university in the Netherlands, who wants to evaluate our project. So he's going to help us with that. And of course, we will base next year's lab on, partly at least, on the evaluation with the students. And as teachers, of course, we are going to evaluate as well. Because there is a lot to learn from this. And I already experienced that we, within our school engineering, we are, of course, also developing our school labs for next year. And my experience in this pilot lab was very helpful for developing the labs within our school, because we know that, what went wrong and what was very good in this lab. So that was helpful. Are there any other questions? Also for Pieter is possible, of course.
Still a question from earlier, whether the Punchcard labs are part of the standard Hanze degree, or is that honor specific?
Pieter?
Yeah, it's typical honor specific. We did some experiences in the program with Punchcard activities. Because students like it to attend activities that were not rewarded in their honors program. So we stimulate students to join activities. We had also, for instance, at Hanze we have the culture and debate platform that organizes all different types of activities during an evening. Students like it, so we stimulate students to join these meetings, and with that experience we created this Punchcard lab. So it is really, at the moment, it's part of the Honors Talent program and not of the regular program. But you never know because it's flexible. So you can also imagine that it is possible to, in the future, maybe to use a kind of Punchcard lab for all the students of Hanze University of Applied Sciences.
Are there any other questions?
Oh, we have a question. What? No, sorry, we don't.
We did hear you, but now we don't.
No, we thought we had a question, but we don't.
Oh, okay. I see a question. Are all the labs offered in each semester, or how is the division?
Yes.
I don't know if all the schools do this in the same way, but how we do this within engineering is that that we have different labs in each semester. So in the first semester next year we will have a lab within engineering about robotics in daily life, and in the second semester we organize a lab around alternative energy vehicles. We work together with the Dutch solar team and the Hanze Racing division. So then students work on that topic, but I don't know how this is organized in other schools.
We supported the school this year to develop the school labs, also what I mentioned, the Hanze Wide labs. And I think in September every school has developed 2 school labs. We have the Hanze Wide labs, and school labs are offered once a year. So they offer one of the school labs in the first semester and the second one in the second semester. As we do with the Hanze Wide labs, we offer these labs once a year. And a part in the first semester and a part in the second semester.
I think it's now time to move on to the Dance Academy students.
Yes. Can anyone see me and hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. All right. Well, hi, my name is Manouk Walter, and I'm coordinator of the Honors Talent Program 2.0 at LMIPA, Lucia Martens Institute for Performing Arts. We offer the bachelor education for dance and dance education. And we have actually started 2 years ago with the implementation of Honors 2.0. So we were, in there very early on. And at this moment, we have 3 of our students who have finalized 1 or more honors labs, and therefore they've already earned 1 or multiple EDU badges. So, well, I'm very proud of them, and I think of these 3 students as some sort of ambassadors of Honors 2.0 within our school. And right now they were somewhere else, also online in this conference, so I would like to ask them to put on their video and microphone and to introduce themselves and give us and everyone a brief insight in their honors labs. So give it up for Julia, Cody, and Guiman. Please, there they are.
Want to start? Who wants to start? You start. Yeah. Okay, my name is Julia. I'm 21 years old, and in July, so in 3 weeks, I will graduate from the Dance Academy. I developed a program for children with behavior disabilities. It's a dance therapy program for special education. It's for 11, 12-year-olds, so the higher classes in special education. And the target of the program is to get a higher self-esteem. So that's what I do. And I have 4 EDU badges. Oh, it says connection lost. Are we still connected? No? Okay. Move on.
I can still hear you. You're still there.
Okay.
Okay, hi, I'm Guiman. and I'm a second-year student here at Liesje Martens Institute for Performing Arts. And for my own honors lab, I'm researching everything about filmmaking and so the finances, camera, lighting, and everything about the cast and the crew. But especially how to connect dance with film and how storytelling can reach the audience as best. I've done 3 smaller pieces which is an easier version of my final product. And after these projects, I've reflected on them, so the main project will go much easier. And in the end, I want to combine everything I've done research on into a final product, in a final short movie.
We hebben een Hanze meeting.
Oh, dat is echt. Wij weten dat jullie in dit lokaal in de Hanze-meeting zitten. We zijn theorielokalen vrij namelijk.
Oh.
En want die gaat... Ja.
Just a second.
Okay.
We're back. Sorry. It was Liesje Martens herself. Okay.
So my final product will be a short movie which will be fully danced.
Cool.
Well, my name's Cody. I'm 20 years old and I'm in the 3rd year now, so I'll graduate next year. For my honors project, I decided to make a full cinematic movie in which I will be the writer, producer, camera director, everything you can imagine around filmmaking. It's a movie revolved around traumatic and taboo topics, and my research around it was that I wanted to research personalities and how they're constructed and what they're made out of, and if you can like reproduce them, if you just write them down, if you can analyze them and make them very theoretical, so to say. And to do that, I took 5 individuals who I interviewed face to face. I interviewed them blind. I had them answer questions. I had them answer questions about themselves and about how they acted towards other people, and then wrote reports on them, which is a bit odd, but yeah, wrote reports on people, so to say. And then from those reports, I built 5 main characters that I then constructed a storyline with and wrote a script with. And this summer I will be filming the film and editing it, so it should be finished somewhere next year. Yep. And now, what did you enjoy best on this program?
What I enjoyed the most is that I learned a lot of stuff. I learned to teach children with a disability. I learned to communicate on a different level with dancing. I learned to take the lead, to create my own kind of program. So it's a lot actually that I learned. I'm very happy with it.
For me, mostly it was about the connection with new dancers, new choreographers, which inspire me, which helped me to make a very new project, which I will be very proud of soon.
I think for me it was the complete freedom to finally write something that I really wanted to write without restrictions to it, and the understanding people more and seeing why they do things and how they do things the way they do them and what's the reason behind that, and really getting like a special view into people that you know. Yeah. What's next? Question you could. Did you have to do a test or assessment or something like that to get your ECs?
Yeah, we have to notate everything. We have to make like assignments for it, notate every hours you put into it. After that you check it with the teachers if everything is written down and stuff like that. And after that, if you have enough hours, you get 80 badge. So I have 4 now. Do you have?
I have 2 now.
I have the first one.
First, yeah.
Yep.
Did I miss something?
No, I'm not. Bravo.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I hope you can see why I'm so proud of them. They have all made their own program, and it's really personal for all three of them. And maybe to add one little thing to the last question about the test or assessment for the people who are starting with Honors 2.0 soon. Yes, they do have to write everything down, but they also have to hand in an evaluation, their own assessment. Actually, they have to evaluate every step in their program. So that's the reflection is actually the assessment, and we do have a final assessment, but that's only for the students who have finalized their 6 honors labs, so the 30 EC. Well, thank you guys.
Anytime. We had fun.
If there are no other questions, I think we will end this session. Thank you very much for everyone that participated in this session. I think it gave a really nice overview of what is happening at the Honors College of Hanze, which is very diverse, we could see. Thank you for that, and enjoy all the next sessions of today and next days.